Hello my dear children, once again welcome to our physics class. Hope you all are fine over there. Children, in the previous session we had discussed about terminal velocity. We also discussed the expression to find out terminal velocity. Today we are going to discuss some of the interesting concepts of this chapter. So the first concept that we are going to discuss today is that of Reynolds number. So what do you mean by Reynolds number? Before discussing about Reynolds number, I just want to remind you about the turbulent flow and streamline flow. You had already studied about streamline and turbulent flow in the same chapter. In the beginning of this chapter, I had discussed about streamline and turbulent flow. So what is streamline flow and what is turbulent flow? See, a streamline flow is an ordered flow. All the particles passing through a point will have a definite velocity. And at the same time, turbulent flow is a flow in a random, disordered way. There is no any particular order for that flow. And we had also discussed some examples for streamline and turbulent flow. So Reynolds number is actually a dimensionless quantity, or it's a dimensionless number. Okay, so Reynolds number is a dimensionless number which helps us to identify whether the flow is turbulent or streamline or laminar. Okay, so how we can identify a turbulent or a streamline flow with the help of a Reynolds number, that we are going to discuss today. So Reynolds number is a dimensionless number whose value gives an idea whether the flow would be turbulent or laminar. And there are two types of flow, laminar and turbulent flow. Reynolds number helps us to determine whether the flow is laminar or turbulent. Reynolds flow is denoted by RE, where E shows Reynolds. Okay, then R suffix E expression is rho Vd by neta. Rho Vd by neta, where rho is the density of the fluid, then V is the velocity or speed of the fluid, then D. What do you mean by D? D is the dimension of the pipe. D is the dimension of the pipe. And neta, we had already studied about neta. Neta is the coefficient of viscosity of the liquid. So what is the expression to find out Reynolds number? Reynolds number Re is equal to rho Vd by neta, where rho is the density of the fluid, V is the speed of the flow of the fluid, D is the dimension of the pipe, and neta is the viscosity of the liquid or fluid. Now, if the value of Reynolds number reaches 1000, then the flow is laminar. Okay, so if the value of Reynolds number reaches 1000, flow is laminar. And when the value of Reynolds number is greater than 2000, then the flow is turbulent. Okay, so below 2000 it is laminar and above 2000 it is turbulent. So if the value is between 1000 and 2000, then the flow is unstable. It is an intermediate stage. So how Reynolds number help us to identify laminar flow and turbulent flow? If the Reynolds number reaches 1000, it is a laminar flow. If the Reynolds number exceeds 2000, it will be a turbulent flow. Between 1000 and 2000, there will be an unstable, or there will be an instability. It is in the flow is an intermediate stage. So from the figure it is clear, laminar flow 1000, turbulent flow 2000. Okay. So at the intermediate stage, it has some characteristics of laminar flow and some of the turbulent flow. Now, turbulence has both advantages and disadvantages. What are the advantages? See, turbulence promotes mixing and increases the rates of transfer of mass, momentum and energy. You can see this beater and you can see this device we will use in the mill. Okay, it is used to grind the powders and all those things. So these instruments or these devices make use of the turbulent motion of the blades. So this turbulence promotes mixing and increases the rate of transfer of momentum, mass and energy. Example, mixer, grinder or a juice maker, etc. And what are the disadvantages? Disadvantages is that it dissipates kinetic energy in the form of heat. So a lot of heat is wasted. Okay, lots of kinetic energy is wasted in the form of heat. Now next we are going to discuss surface energy. So what do you mean by surface energy? We can define surface energy, or we can explain surface energy in terms of surface tension. So what do you mean by surface tension? Surface tension means liquids acquire a free surface when poured in a container, and these surfaces possess some additional energy, and this phenomenon is known as surface tension. And we will discuss more about surface tension in this chapter itself afterwards. So surface energy is the excess energy exhibited by the liquid molecules on the surface compared to those inside the liquid. So consider water or some fluid poured into a container. So consider those molecules which are on the free surface of the fluid. So those molecules will exhibit some excess energy or extra energy compared to the molecules inside the liquid. So this means that liquid molecules at the surface have greater energy compared to the molecules inside it. Okay, so here you can consider, see, this is the molecule at the free surface, and this is the molecule which is fully inside the liquid. So this molecule which is on the surface possesses extra energy than this molecule which is completely inside it. So this extra energy possessed by the molecule at the free surface is known as surface energy. Okay. And before that we can explain what is the reason for this surface tension in terms of this, with the help of this diagram itself. So here you can see some molecule. This molecule is fully inside the liquid, and this molecule is at the surface. So here for this molecule, you can see the force of attraction on the molecule are equal in all directions. So if we consider this molecule here, from here also it will experience a force of attraction. Okay, so it experiences force of attraction in all directions, and those force of attraction are equal. Hence net force on it will be 0, because from all sides it experiences equal forces of attraction. So these forces will be cancelled since it is equal and opposite. Hence net force on it is 0. Now if you consider this molecule which is on the surface, we can see that the molecule is partially inside the liquid and partially it is out of the liquid. So here this molecule experiences a net downward force, because above this liquid there are no water molecules to exert the force of attraction. So this molecule on the surface will experience only a downward force. Okay, and this downward pull, to overcome this downward pull, the molecules on the surface has to do some work on it, isn't it? So downward force on the molecule is maximum. So whenever a molecule comes to the surface, it is doing some work to overcome this downward pull, and this work then resides as potential energy in the molecule on the surface. Thus molecule on the surface of the liquid have potential energy. This energy is called surface energy. Okay, so that's why surface energy is experienced only by the molecules on the free surface, because the molecules on the free surface has to do some external work in order to overcome the downward pull experienced, and this external work resides in the form of potential energy in the molecule on the surface. This energy is called surface energy. Okay. Now what do you mean by surface tension? Surface tension is the property of the liquid surface which arises due to the fact that surface molecules have extra energy. And surface energy is the extra energy which the molecules at the surface have, that we had already discussed. So surface tension is the property of the liquid surface which arises due to the fact that surface molecules have extra energy. So just now we discussed that surface molecules have extra energy, and due to that fact surface tension property arises. And it is the property of the liquid surface because the molecules have extra energy, and it is defined as surface energy per unit area of the liquid surface. So how will you define surface energy? Surface energy is defined as the surface energy per unit, sorry, it's not surface energy, surface tension. So surface tension is defined as the surface energy per unit area of the liquid surface, and it is denoted by S. So here, next we are going to discuss the relationship between surface energy and surface tension. So conceptually, surface energy and surface tension are different. So surface tension is the downward pull experienced by the surface molecules, but surface energy is the energy stored as potential energy on the molecules residing on the surface. So there is conceptually there is a little bit difference between surface energy and surface tension, but their magnitude will be same. So we can find out the relationship between surface energy and surface tension. For that we need to consider this diagram. So this diagram represents a horizontal liquid film. Okay, so this figure represents a horizontal liquid film, and there is a bar at one end of that figure, and this bar is free to move. Okay, the bar at one end of the film is free to move, and move the bar to a small distance as shown in the figure. So here we can see, here we have moved the bar to a small distance, small d. So some work has to be done here because the area of the film has increased. So some work has to be done here, and that work done, W is equal to force into displacement. Okay, and this work done is stored as additional energy in the film. So if the surface energy of the film is S per unit area, work done to increase the surface area is W is equal to S into increase in surface area. So another expression for work done is surface tension into increase in surface area. So that is equal to S into increase in area. So here what is area? See, this is the area increased. So this is in the shape of a rectangle, and area of the rectangle is length into breadth. So here length of this film is L and breadth is the distance moved, and that is T. And since the film has two surfaces, we need to consider the increase in area of two surfaces. So it will be 2LT. So work done is S into 2LT. So there are two expressions for work done. One is F into D and another one is S into 2LD. So just equate the expressions. When you equate the expressions, you will get S into 2LD is equal to F into D. So this T and this T will be cancelled, and we are left with S is equal to F by 2L, and F by 2L is the surface tension itself. So this quantity S is the magnitude of surface tension, and it is equal to surface energy per unit area. Okay, so surface tension is, and surface tension and surface energy are conceptually different, but magnitude will be same. Okay. Then how do these detergents work? So whenever we want to remove dirt from our clothes, we will add detergents. So adding of detergents into the water decreases the surface tension. Okay, so how can we explain with the help of the property of that surface tension? See, washing along with water can remove some of the dirts, but it does not remove the grease stains. This is because water does not wet the grease dirt. We need detergent which mixes water with dirt to remove it from the clothes. Detergent molecules look like hairpin shape. When we add detergents to the water, one end of that hairpin, that means the head, will attract towards water and other end sticks to the dirt. As a result, dirt is getting attracted to the detergent molecules and they get detached from the clothes and they are suspended in the water. So detergent molecules get attracted to water, and when water is removed, the dirt also gets removed from the clothes. So here you can see the figure. So we are adding soap molecules to water. Whenever we add soap molecules to water, the head of the soap molecules attracted towards the water and the tail are free now. Now here this image represents the dirt. Okay, so this represents pure dirt, and when water molecules comes in contact with the dirt, you can see the tail of that soap molecules, the tail of that soap molecules will be attracted towards the lid. See, head is attracted towards the water and the tail of that soap molecule is attracted towards the dirt. Okay, and finally this dirts are surrounded by the soap molecules, and that soap molecules detach dirt from the clothes and carries this dirt or removes this dirt away from the clothes. So thus adding detergents help us to remove tough stains from the clothes because it decreases the surface tension of the water. Okay. Children, next we can discuss another concept, that is angle of contact. So what do you mean by angle of contact? Angle of contact is the angle at which a liquid interface meets a solid surface, and it is denoted by theta. It is different at interfaces of different pairs of liquids and solids. For example, droplet of water on lotus leaf. The droplet of water is in liquid with the solid surface, which is a leaf. And this liquid surface makes some angle with the solid surface. This angle is known as angle of contact. Here, for example, consider a container and it is filled with water. Now, just consider the meniscus of this liquid is like this. This is the meniscus of this liquid. Now, here, if we consider an angle theta, this is angle of contact because this is the angle made by the liquid surface with the solid surface. This is the solid surface and this is the liquid surface. So this is the angle made by the liquid surface with the solid surface. Again, that angle is inside the liquid. But at the same time, if we consider this angle, this is also an angle. This is also an angle, but this angle theta is not angle of contact because this angle is outside the liquid, isn't it? So this angle is outside the liquid. So angle of contact must reside inside the liquid surface. So it is the angle made by the liquid surface with some solid surface. That is angle of contact. So to be more specific, we can say angle of contact is the angle between solid surface and the tangent drawn to the liquid surface at the point of contact. So if we consider another example, see here, this is a liquid drop and this is a glass surface. So this liquid drop is in contact with the glass surface, which is a solid surface, and here just draw a tangent to this liquid surface. Draw a tangent to this liquid surface, and angle of contact is the angle between this tangent which is drawn at the point of contact. So here at this point, solid and the liquid is in contact. So this is the point of contact, and at this point of contact we have drawn a tangent, and angle of contact is the angle between this tangent and the solid surface. Okay, but is this angle is the angle of contact? No. Why? Because this angle resides outside the liquid surface. And again here I will mark another angle. Okay, this is also angle between the tangent drawn to the liquid surface at the point of contact and the solid surface, isn't it? So this is the angle of contact. Why? Because this angle lies inside the liquid drop. Okay, so this theta 1 is the angle of contact, and theta is not the angle of contact because it resides outside the liquid surface. Now, here you can see, this is water drops on the lotus leaf. It has formed a droplet here, and because the here angle of contact is more, that is, it is an obtuse angle. But at the same time, here we can see this is the water which is spread on a table, and here angle of contact is less, hence that water is able to wet the table. Here water is not able to wet the lotus leaf, it has just formed a droplet because angle of contact is obtuse or more here, that we will discuss in the next slide. See, what is the significance of angle of contact? Angle of contact determines whether a liquid will spread on the surface of a solid or it will form droplets on it. If the angle of contact is obtuse, then droplet will be formed, just like water on the lotus leaf. But if the angle of contact is acute, then the water will spread, just as water spread on that table. Okay. So here you can see in this figure water has formed a droplet on the surface, and this is the tangent drawn to the liquid surface at the point of contact. So this is the point of contact between the liquid and the solid surface, and at this point of contact a tangent has drawn, and this is the angle between that tangent and the solid surface. So this angle is the angle of contact which resides inside the liquid surface, and this angle is obtuse angle. From the figure it is very clear, it is greater than 90 degrees. So this angle is an obtuse angle, and if it is an obtuse angle, water droplet, a spherical droplet is formed. That means the droplet similar to that observed in the lotus leaf is observed. In such cases, water will not wet that particular surface. But at the same time, here you can see this is an angle of contact, and this angle of contact is less than 90 degrees. It is an acute angle. See, this is the see, this is the liquid surface, and this is the angle drawn to the liquid surface at the point of contact, and this is the angle, this theta is the angle between this tangent, and this theta is the angle between this tangent and the solid surface, and this theta resides inside the liquid surface. So this is the angle of contact, and this angle of contact is acute, so this water droplet will spread on the solid surface. Okay, so in such cases water is able to wet that particular surface. So that is the significance of angle of contact. It determines whether the liquid will wet that surface or not. Okay. So with this I am concluding my session. Notes of the topic and YouTube video have been uploaded. Just go through it. We will meet in the next session. Till then, take care all of you. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.